Hello guys, what's up? This is Sir EJ and welcome again for another math tutorial. In today's topic, we will be discussing the measures of position for the group data. These are the following objectives you need to attain for today's topic. Letter A. Illustrate the different measures of positions for group data. Letter B. Calculate the different measures of position such as quartile, decile, and percentile. Letter C. Interpret and apply the different measures of position in real-life situations. These are the steps that we need to follow to calculate the value of the quartiles for the group data. The first step is we need to construct the cumulative frequency distribution table. After that, we will decide the class that contains the quartile sub k class. And we need to remember that quartile sub k class is the class with the value of cumulative frequency which is equal or greater than k times n all over 4. And after that, we will be using now the formula of quartiles. So the formula will be Q sub k is equal to LB plus the quantity k times n all over 4 minus less than CF sub b all over F sub k times I, wherein the value of n is equal to the total number of frequency. The value of less than CF sub b is equal to the cumulative frequency before the Q sub k class. And then the value of F sub k is equal to the frequency of the Q sub k class. And then LB is equal to the lower class boundary of the Q sub k class. And then I is equal to the class width or the interval. Let's have our first example. We will compute for the value of the lower quartile or quartile 1. The first step is to complete first the missing parts of the frequency distribution table. We will look for the value of the class width or the interval. We will get this by counting starting from the lower limit, which is 11, and up to the upper limit, which is equal to 20. So we will start with 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And that is equal to 10. So the value of the class width is equal to 10. And then after that, we will get the total number of frequency. And to solve for the total number of frequency or n, we will just add the numbers located in the column of the frequency. So adding these numbers, 5 plus 6 is equal to 11, 11 plus 7 is equal to 18, 18 plus 10 is equal to 28, and 28 plus 2 is equal to 30. So the total number of frequency or the value of n is equal to 30. After that, to compute the value of the lower boundary, we will subtract the lower limit by 0.5. We have 11 minus 0.5 is equal to 10.5. 21 minus 0.5 is equal to 20.5. 31 minus 0.5 is equal to 30.5. And then 41 minus 0.5 is equal to 40.5. And 51 minus 0.5 is equal to 50.5. The next step is we will get the less than cumulative frequency. To get the less than cumulative frequency, we will start with our first class. So this one is the first class, the one with the lowest lower limit and upper limit in the class interval. So we have 11 to 20 as the lowest class interval. So this will be the first class. We will look at the frequency of this first class the frequency of 11 to 20, which is equal to 2. And what we need to do here is we will just copy it here in the column of the less than cumulative frequency. So we will put 2 here, and then after that, we will add 2 by this number, the frequency of the second class. So 2 plus 10 will be equal to 12, and we will put the answer here, and then 12 plus the frequency of the third class, which is 7, and that is equal to 19. 19 plus the frequency of the fourth class, that is equal to 25. And then 25 plus the frequency of the fifth class, which is equal to 5. So we have 25 plus 5, and that is equal to 30. So the frequency on our last class must be equal to the value of n, and that is equal to 30. After we have compute the table, we will determine the q sub k class, which is equal to k sub n all over 4. The value of k will be equal to 1 because we are looking for the value of quartile sub 1. So k will be equal to 1. Substituting the numbers, we have q sub 1 class is equal to k is equal to 1 times the value of n, which is equal to 30, all over 4. And then we will multiply. 1 times 30 is equal to 30. Then 30 divided by 4 is equal to 7.5. So the value of quartile sub 1 class is equal to 7.5. And to determine the position of quartile sub 1 class, we will look at the less than cumulative frequency. So the less than cumulative frequency must be greater than or equal to 7.5. We will start with the first class. The less than cumulative frequency of our first class is equal to 2. Therefore, this is not our quartile sub 1 class because it is less than 7.5. So on our second class, 12 is now greater than or equal to 7.5. So this is greater than, 12 is greater than 7.5. Therefore, quartile sub 1 class is on the second class. So this is our quartile sub 1 class. After we have determined the quartile sub 1 class, we will now be using the formula of quartiles for the group data. So we have quartile sub k is equal to lower boundary plus the quantity k times n all over 4 minus less than cumulative frequency before the quartile class all over the frequency of the quartile class times the interval. We will substitute the corresponding value. So we have q sub 1 is equal to the lower boundary. We will be looking at our quartile class, which is located on the second class. So this one. What is the lower boundary of the second class? That is 20.5. We will be substituting the lower boundary, which is equal to 20.5 plus the quantity. We have k times n all over 4. We have compute it already. So k times n over 4, that is equal to 7.5. So we will just substitute it minus the less than cumulative frequency before the quartile class. So this is our less than cumulative frequency of the quartile class, 12. And we must get the number before this class. So this is the second class, and before the second class, that is the first class. So we will get the number before 12, and that is equal to 2. So the value of the less than cumulative frequency before the quartile class is equal to 2 all over the frequency of the quartile class. So quartile class is on the second class, so the frequency of the second class is equal to 10 times the value of the class width, or I, which is equal to 10. And then after that, we will be simplifying. Bring down quartile sub 1 is equal to, bring down 20.5 plus 7.5 minus 2 is equal to 5.5. divided by 10, and then multiply the answer by 10, that is equal to 5.5, and then adding these two numbers is equal to 26. So the value of quartile sub 1 is equal to 26. So if we will try to interpret this, 25% of the total number of frequency has a score of which is less than or equal to 26. Using the same table, let's calculate now the value of quartile 2. We will be using the formula Q sub k class is equal to k times n all over 4. We will be substituting the value of k, which is equal to 2, and the value of n, which is equal to 30. We have 2 times 30, that is equal to 60, and then 60 divided by 4 is equal to 15. So quartile sub 2 class is equal to 15, and we will be looking at the less than cumulative frequency. So the less than cumulative frequency must be equal or greater than 15. So 2 is not greater than 15. So this is not the quartile class. 12 is not greater than. 19 is greater than 15. Therefore, the quartile 2 class is on the third class. So this class will be the quartile 2 class. So quartile 2 class is on the third class, and after we have identified the quartile 2 class, we will be now using the formula of quartiles, in which Q sub k is equal to LB plus the quantity k times n all over 4 minus less than CF sub b all over f times the interval or the class width. We will be substituting the corresponding value. So this will be Q sub 2 is equal to the value of the lower boundary, which is equal to 30.5. So quartile sub 2 class is on the third class, so we will look for the lower boundary of the third class, and that is equal to 30.5. Plus, we have already computed for the value of k sub n all over 4, which is equal to 15, minus the less than CF before the quartile 2 class, and that is equal to 12. So quartile 2 class, the less than CF of quartile 2 class is equal to 19. So the number before it is equal to 12. So this is the second class. This is the third class, second class, and the number before 19 is equal to 12. All over the frequency, which is equal to 7. The frequency of quartile 2 class times the interval, which is equal to 10. After that, we will now simplify, just bring down 30.5, and then 15 minus 12 will be equal to 3. 3 times 10 will be equal to 30. 30 divided by 7, and that is equal to 4.2857. Adding these numbers, we will get the value of quartile sub 2, which is equal to 34.79. So if we will interpret this, 50% of the total number of frequency has a score of less than or equal to 34.79. Let's have our last example. Using the same table, let's try to calculate the value of the upper quartile or Q sub 3. We will be identifying the quartile class using the formula k times n all over 4. Substituting the corresponding value, the value of k will be equal to 3. The value of n will be equal to 30 all over 4. 3 times 30 is equal to 90, and then 90 divided by 4, and that is equal to 22.5. So the value of the quartile 3 class must be the less than cumulative frequency, which is greater than or equal to 22.5. We will be starting with our first class if this is greater than 22.5. So obviously 2 is less than 22.5. Same goes with 12. Same goes with 19. And 25 will be the number which is greater than 22.5. So this will be the quartile sub-K class. So this is the first class, the second class, the third class, the fourth class. Therefore, quartile 3 class is on the fourth class. After we have identified the quartile 3 class, we will now use the formula of quartiles. We have Q sub k is equal to LB plus the quantity k times n all over 4 minus less than CF sub b all over f times the interval. Substituting the corresponding value, we have Q sub 3 is equal to the value of the lower boundary. We will look at our quartile sub 3 class, and that is on the fourth class. And what is the value of the lower boundary? That is equal to 40.5 plus the quantity. What is the value of k times n all over 4? So the value of that is equal to 22.5, the one that we have computed earlier, minus the less than cumulative frequency before the quartile 3 class. So the less than cumulative frequency of the quartile 3 class is 25. What is the number before 25? That is 19. So the less than cumulative frequency before the quartile 3 class is equal to 19 all over the total number of frequency of the quartile 3 class. So what is the total number of frequencies? So the frequency on the fourth class is equal to 6 times the value of I, or the class width, is equal to 10. And then we will just simplify this. Bring down 40.5 plus 22.5 minus 19 is equal to 3.5. 3.5 times 10 is equal to 35, and then 35 divided by 6 is equal to 5.83, and then adding these two numbers, we will get 46.33. And if we will interpret this, quartile 3 is equal to 75%. Therefore, 75% of the total number of frequency has a score of which is less than or equal to 46.33.